Hello everybody, and we are back live with another Microsoft licensing news update, which we do usually on a monthly basis. We try to do it on the first Wednesday of the month, but this time it's the second Wednesday of the month because, well, on the 1st of November I was pretty far away from my home, relaxing. As in regards to the updates, you can see them on screen right now, and you can find them yourselves if you go to the Microsoft Product Terms portal and look at them yourself. And you can see the list is pretty long this time, as usual. Well, maybe unusual these days. October wasn't as long as this one. But there are only two updates that I want to talk about today, which are substantial, which are not just some additional usage terms, which may be important to you, but there's a very limited number of users or clients of Microsoft that may be affected by those subtle licensing changes. But there are two changes that are not subtle. So first of all, let's start with the exciting bit. There are two bits of this that are important, as I said. One of them is our future. The other one is our past, which has transformed. And for those who use legacy products, this is a very interesting update, and it's very important. It's finally, after many, many years, Microsoft did what we expected from them. Finally. So now, question number one. Update number one, Microsoft CoPilot. So Microsoft CoPilot was finally added to availability for MCA. And you may think that since we have it in the Microsoft customer agreement, there you go, Microsoft 365 CoPilot here in this line. If you can see the tiny mouse cursor that I'm moving right now. You may think now it's going to be available in CSP. Well, it isn't. And we are receiving conflicting rumors and noises from Microsoft partners and Microsoft itself, unofficial, some of which say that we must stick with the official position that it will not be available until, let's say, April 24 to smaller clients. However, there's another rumor through partners that it may actually be available before that. And as we said already 2 times in our previous live shows, currently the limit, the lower limit on the CoPilot licenses is 300 seats. You can't buy fewer licenses, and that is a substantial investment. That's about 100,000 American dollars a year for CoPilot. So smaller companies, like we are a boutique consulting company specializing in everything around Microsoft relationship negotiations, licensing, whatnot. We don't sell licenses. We consult on how to buy them in the cheapest, fairest way. So we can't afford it. It's too much. I mean, we can afford it, but why would I pay so much for a tiny company? We don't have 300 employees. And the biggest issue here is many small business companies and medium business below 300, they want CoPilot, but they can't get it. And we were waiting until it appears in the CSP channel, and it does appear in the CSP channel, but here's an interesting bit. It's kind of CSP channel, but not. MCA, Microsoft Customer Agreement, so you know, if you don't know, actually works in 2 channels. CSP through partners, and it's also so-called CSPE, or whatever they call it, MCAE, Enterprise Motion, that's another name. That means those are Microsoft salespeople selling that directly to you. That is where it's available through the Microsoft Customer Agreement, directly from Microsoft. And all the limitations that were announced, at least for now, at least until 2024, only to enterprise clients, at least 300 licenses. So, on one hand, exciting news. On the other hand, well, one thing that you should notice about it in the license prerequisites, and I'm going to scroll to the license prerequisites, is Microsoft also, to prepare for future deployment to the CSP channel, they added Microsoft Business Standard, Business Premium here in the license prerequisites. We knew that's the prerequisite. It's in our it's been in our article on our website SAMexpert.com here. If you go to our website SAMexpert.com, type CoPilot in the search. Sorry, that was a Russian. CoPilot. There we go. So we knew that Microsoft Business Premium, Microsoft Business Standard, Microsoft 365 Business Premium, Microsoft 365 Business Standard are one of the two of the eligible packages for CoPilot. But because it was announced that it's not going to be available to smaller clients, we thought, well, maybe they won't announce it. They didn't announce it. The product terms are updated. It still doesn't mean that you can buy it as a smaller than 300 seats business yet. So exciting or not, you decide. The other bit, I truly can't downplay this. We're looking at System Center Server, System Center Server Management licenses. There were two problems with System Center in Microsoft licensing since whenever, very long time ago. Problem number one, it was not available through CSP. Problem number two, nobody could explain how to license it on Azure, on SPLA as being your own license, or when Microsoft introduced the per virtual machine rules, also how it's licensed per virtual machine. So we kind of understood that it's going to follow the Windows Server logic, but we wanted Microsoft to explicitly provide those explanations in writing, finally clarifying that. I mean, so many years have passed. Now we have it. Now we finally have it. We finally tick the box of System Center in CSP, two types of licenses. You may notice if you deal with licenses often that we don't have 8 core packs to 16 core packs. We're only dealing with 2 core packs. The other thing you must know here, which is not actually, by the way, not explicitly obvious from this page, is they're only subscription licenses, so no perpetual licenses, because they have license mobility. That's how we infer it. Subscription. And also because System Center, since about maybe 5-6 more years ago, has always been only available as a license with software assurance or a subscription. So these are subscription licenses. 2 core packs, data center or standard. Now, if you scroll down to use rights, the licensing model that you should look up is this: server management licenses per core, licensing by individual virtual operating system environment. Finally. So let me read this and I'll explain. A customer may use the software on Azure or a server to manage a virtual operating system environment, a virtual machine, on a license server, provided it acquires sufficient server licenses as described below. So, 2 bits. It includes Azure. So these rights clearly apply to Azure, and that it can only be used on the server. And server, if you hover over it, let me find where this is more important. License servers. So license servers can be on premises and on an outsourcer. So that these are subscription licenses. They fall under the flexible virtualization rights. They have bring your own license rights and the rules per virtual machine, which is what you want in the public cloud, any sort of public cloud. The rules per virtual machine are simple. At least 8 cores or 4 2-core packs. But there's not 4 licenses. Please stop calling them licenses. Bloody hell. Core pack, 2 core packs, 2 licenses in each pack. So 8 core licenses per virtual machine minimum. If your virtual machine has more cores than 8, then you need to assign more licenses in the increments of 2, but that's how you change the cores. I have never seen actual virtual machines with like 3 or 5 cores. But anyway, there you go. That's the rule. At least eight core licenses minimum. That's it. That is it. And the cheapest version, the cheapest option for you to bring System Center management licenses, so manage VMs with your System Center on Azure or on a service provider with your own licenses. You have to agree with the service provider. They need to know that you're doing that, because otherwise they'll have a compliance issue. Is simple. System Center standard. 8 licenses per virtual machine. That's it. That is it. Simple. No other rules. No other formulas. Finally, again. Good news. So to summarize, Microsoft added CoPilot to the MCA channel, but still only for the enterprise companies. So those of you who are slower than less than 300 seats or users will have to wait. And the second news is System Center licensing per virtual machine is clarified for Azure on premises and on other public clouds, except for AWS, Alibaba, and Google, but that's a different story. By the way, rumor, what you heard about AWS workspaces when Microsoft allowed usage of deployment of Microsoft 365 to AWS workspaces may come to Google as well. Watch that space. May. That's the right word. It may. Negotiations are ongoing. And on that fantastic note, after only, how many minutes? 12 minutes online. We'll conclude this live event. Since we have no pressing questions from the audience today, let's do the Q&A next month. I'll see you in December. Goodbye. And smile. Don't worry, be happy. Licensing is complicated, but it doesn't have to be.